Welcome to Copenhagen. Just messing about with this Haps thing. Today I thought rather than doing a whipping chat, I would just do a chat. So we'll just see if anybody comes in. It's going to be a very one-sided chat if nobody does. So thanks for dropping in. My name is Jim Lind and I diamond paint. So these are diamond paintings in the background. All these pictures that you see are made up of tiny little squares or tiny little circles that are placed one at a time. So the guitar behind me, that is square, so it is made up of thousands and thousands of little squares that are 2.5 millimeters by 2.5 millimeters. So they take quite a long time to make. The one on the other side is the hoverfly, which is a custom. It's a picture that I took in Copenhagen in the botanical gardens. I was taking a picture of a flower close up and a hoverfly landed on it just as I was about to take the picture. Hi Carly, good afternoon. 12:33 in Copenhagen. Are you at work today? I decided to skip the whip bit and just do a chat, see who comes in. Makes a bit of a change from looking at little squares all the time. So I was just sort of explaining what diamond paintings are, basically. As I was saying, the fly, that was a custom. So it's a one-off. It's the only one in the world. That is the thing about doing customs. You can basically get a custom made of any picture or design that you want, preferably one of your own and not stealing from companies. So the hoverfly was a picture that I took myself, so I own the rights to that. Oh, you're working from home. That's nice. No travel time. Yeah, so diamond paintings come in various sizes as well. You can get really small ones, like the ones up here that don't take too long. Just give up on trying to do something on your whip while you're, yeah. It's I don't get much done when I'm doing a whipping chat because I either do one or the other. So if I'm not if I'm not chatting, I'm whipping. And if I'm not whipping, I'm chatting. So a lot of times I get nothing done basically. So I decided to skip the whip and just chat, see who comes in. I'm never sure who's going to drop in or what we're going to talk about. So I just sort of started talking about diamond painting for anybody that might drop in and has never even heard of it. It's basically a bit like cross stitch, but instead of having threads and having to thread a needle and change threads and all that fiddly stuff, all you do is pick up a little piece of plastic with a pen and put it on the canvas, which has glue on it. The panda butt is really standing out. Can you actually see that? I think you can only see it because you know what it is. Hi, Helen. Long time no see. How's sunny Scotland? Yeah, the panda, that was an interesting one. Hi, Jane. How's the foot? Is it getting better? Or is it just pretty much the same as yesterday? Is sunny Scotland sunny this morning? Is it this morning? Yep, still this morning in Scotland. It's grey and cloudy, but not raining here. Not yet. It is predicted to rain though. Hi Hazel, thanks for dropping in. I'm glad some people came in because I thought if I go in here to do a chat and nobody comes in, it's going to be kind of boring for me anyway. You can see it's a panda. Okay. The one that Carly is talking about is this little blue one. If I can guide my finger the right direction, which I can't. This way, this way, this way, this way, this way. Ta-da! That is a little panda who's sticking his butt up in front of the camera. Well, that's healing really quick, Jean. That's crazy. Jean had part of her Achilles tendon removed. Then they took the tendon from her big toe and attached it to the other part of her Achilles tendon and put it back together again. And that was, when was that, Jean? That was only, what, Friday? Went in for the operation at 7, left the hospital at 2, and has been sitting at home with her feet up ever since. Still having problems with my throat. I don't know what it is. Oh, was it Wednesday? Okay. Time flies. I thought it was the end of the week. It was the middle of the week. So that's nearly a week and you're already off pain medication. That's crazy. So I was just sort of briefly talking about diamond painting, very vaguely what it is. Basically pictures made up of little pieces of plastic. Yeah, I've finished the hoverfly. That's my last custom. I've done a few. I've done Newhaven, which is the most photographed place in Copenhagen. It's a harbour with multicoloured buildings and boats. It's a dead end canal. It doesn't go anywhere. But if you go the opposite way, it takes you out into the main canal, and then you can go on canal trips. It's a very, very popular place. Yeah, yeah, you had that bone spur as well. Yeah, that's really good. It's good to hear that everything's going well. So yeah, I took a picture down in Newhaven about 4 or 5 years ago, and eventually decided to get it converted into a diamond painting. But I tweaked it a bit to make it look more like an oil painting. I wanted it to look old-fashioned because Newhaven was built in the can't remember 15th century, I think. So I wanted it to look old. So I did that, and I was pleased with it. Then I took a picture that I had taken of Hans Christian Andersen's statue in Kongens Have, the King's Garden in Copenhagen, and tweaked that one as well and did a 60 by 80, 60 centimetres wide, 80 centimetres down. I'm getting on very slowly with the Halloween diamond painting, Alan. Yeah, the hoverfly turned out really good. The thing about when you do the customs, you send a picture to a company and you ask them to convert it. So they scan it in a computer. It calculates the colours and the drills needed and all that stuff. And then they print it on the canvas and they supply all the drills. So when you get it, everything you need is in the box. But all you see is a mock-up. They'll send you a mock-up, like a picture of what it will look like. It never looks exactly the same as the actual diamond painting. The colours tend not to be as vibrant, and obviously you don't have that sparkle when you move past it. That's the thing about diamond painting. That's what makes it so different. The little pieces are multifaceted, which means they have a lot of faces on them. And when or surfaces, because people will be thinking there's little faces. It's not faces like that, it's surfaces. And the light hits off them at different angles, so it makes them sparkle. And that's where we get the name diamond painting. They aren't made of diamond. So when everything's still, you don't really get that effect. It's best when you actually see them and you walk past them and you see them glitter and sparkle. That's what makes them really different from cross stitch. But basically, they're made up of little squares or circles that are about the same size as a stitch and cross stitch, maybe a little bit bigger. So yeah, it's a bit of a gamble when you go for customs, especially if you go for customs with people in them. Skin tones are notoriously difficult to get right. I have seen some absolute horror stories where people's faces are lobster red. I saw one where half the face was orange. Um, you have to be careful which company you choose when you're getting customs, especially if people are in them. So the Hoverfly, the Hans Christian Andersen, the Newhound, and the one that I'm working on at the moment, Tivoli at Halloween, all came from Smith's Beads in England, smithsbeads.co.uk or smithsbeads.com if you're in America. Mike is a very cool guy, really dedicated to what he does. And when I do customs now, I basically just send the picture to him and let him decide what is the best size. Because if you go for small sizes, you lose a lot of detail. But it really depends what the picture is. If it's a picture that doesn't have a lot of detail, you don't need to go too big. So basically, I just leave it to Mike to decide on the size. So he did that with all of them. And I've got one more that I haven't started yet. And I'm trying to remember how many colours are in that. I can't remember. The Hoverfly had 8 to 9 colours. Tivoli at Halloween that I'm working on at the moment has 90 colours. I've got a funny feeling the next one has about 80. I think it's a bit less. I might be wrong though. I think Hans Christian Andersen had 90, I think. And it's because of what I've done with the pictures. They're sort of based loosely on stained glass sort of idea. That was what I was going for. And because of that, there's a lot of shades of the same colour. So you might look at it and think, okay, there's maybe what 15 colours in that, maybe 20. There's actually 8 to 9. So it can be surprising how many colours are in a picture when you get it scanned. I've got one, my very first custom, I got that through Homecraftology, homecraftology.com. And it was a custom of one of my friends brought out an album, a new album, and I decided to do it as a custom diamond painting. I need to actually put it up. It's quite, well, it's the biggest diamond painting I've done so far. It's 80 by 100. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to fit in the picture here, but I might try and put it up where the hoverfly is at some point. But it looks like it's only green, black, and white, pretty much, maybe grey. But it had 47 colours in it, and I forget how many shades of green. It's quite surprising, but it's because it went from black and faded into green. So you've got all the sort of steps between black and green. So it turned out really good. It's a very simple design, and because it's 80 by 100, it turned out really well. It has text on it, the album name and the band name, but again, it's big print, so no problems. again, if you're looking at diamond paintings and they've got small, like swirly, fancy, thin writing, unless you go really big, it probably will be unreadable. That's one of the main problems that people, when you see them, you're looking at the original artwork, and a lot of sites you can choose which size you want. So people might tend to go for the small one because it's the cheapest and it looks just as good as any other size when you look at the pictures. But that's because they're showing you the original artwork. They're not showing you an actual diamond painting. So you have it in your head that the small size is going to just be a smaller version of the biggest one. That isn't the case. I did buy two diamond paintings, the same picture, and I bought the smallest size and I bought the largest size and did both of them. So people could see the difference in detail. And the large one had about twice as many colours as well. So as you go up, you tend to get more colour in the picture, which helps to blend things in, makes it look better. The smaller ones, they don't, they can't really do it because they're limited to the size. I mean, the smallest size you can get is a square drill, which is 2.5 millimeters by 2.5 millimeters. And if you're trying to do a very thin line, like mist in the background or something, it just doesn't work. I'm taking a study break and cross-stitching right now. Will be glad when I don't have to keep my foot. When I don't have to keep my foot. You're going to lose your foot, Jean. I'll be glad when I don't have to keep my foot up, I think you mean, and can diamond paint again. Well, I started off cross-stitch. That was the thing that indirectly got me into diamond painting. A friend of my mum's used to visit her, and she brought a cross-stitch with her. And she did really big ones, and they looked like watercolor, like paintings. They were really cool. And I watched her doing that, and I thought, that is really cool how you can do that, just made up of little squares, but it looks so good. So I decided I was going to try cross-stitch. Now, this was a long time ago. And what I did was I bought a kit of, it was a picture of a corgi dog's face and chest. We had a corgi. My foot is still ongoing, Helen. I'm going back to the hospital again. I've had steroid injection in it to try and sort it, but that never worked. I'm on different medication that's meant to fix it, but I've got a blood test coming up on the 4th and a hospital appointment on the 6th to see what's happening. So yeah, I bought this kit of a corgi because we had a corgi dog at the time. And I did it as a surprise for my mum. Never told her I was doing cross-stitch. I had never done cross-stitch, never had the internet, so I couldn't really look up hints and tips like you can do for diamond painting. And I watched my mum's friend when she visited really closely, but I didn't say that I was going to do anything. So I watched her and sort of picked up from what she was doing, and then decided to do the corgi. And I think I started it in some like August, and I finished it about a week or 2 weeks before Christmas. So I got that framed and gave it to my mum. So that got me started. Then I did, it was like a bookmark, but it was bigger. It was a tall, thin, like narrow one, and it was just different flowers. I did that for my gran. And then I've done some really small ones when I came here, key rings. Hi Chantel, thanks for dropping in. And then I sort of stopped for a long time. And then I sort of started thinking about it again. I was looking for something, just something to do. And I thought, I think I'll maybe take up cross stitch again. So I went on the internet, started searching cross stitch, and something came up that said diamond painting, and I thought, okay, what's that? And why did it come up with cross stitch? So I had a look at it, and then I sort of got the rough idea of what it was. It was, you pick up these little pieces of plastic and you put them down instead of having to thread needles and make all these little X's and cut threads and feed threads in behind to keep it all neat and tidy and all that stuff. I thought that looks easier. Just pick it up, put it down in the square. So it's a bit like painting by numbers meets cross stitch sort of thing, but they sparkle, and that's the part that really makes them different. You can see a lot of pictures of diamond paintings in the groups and stuff, but you don't really see them at their best unless people do a video and actually move the picture, and then you see all the glitter and that sort of thing. And it makes them look really cool. So that's how I got into diamond painting, and that was nearly 2 years ago, I think. December 2019? No, was it 18? No, it wasn't 18. 19, I think. Lost track. But I read up quite a bit, joined some diamond painting groups, and watched a lot of YouTube videos. And I would definitely recommend anybody who's looking or thinking about taking up diamond painting, watch the YouTube videos. It's the best way to get an idea of what it's all about. The problem with groups is you go in and ask a question and you maybe get 20 people answer it, and sometimes the 20 answers can be different, which makes it very confusing. So I think actually seeing how people do things and then thinking about it and thinking, yeah, I like that idea. Yeah, it turned out really nice, Chantel. I think the Tivoli one's going to be good as well, but so far, the hoverfly is my favourite custom. And you can't see it really from this distance, and you don't get the sparkle, but it is really nice. And that's on a magnetic frame. I've decided to use magnetic frames from now on. So there's no glass or perspex in front of it. So you get the full effect of the drills. The guitar is behind perspex. It's in a sort of more traditional frame. The problem with that is any light at all reflects off it and it acts like a mirror. So a lot of times when you look in it, you see yourself or you see a window, and it really ruins the effect. So plus it's more expensive. So I've now decided to go with magnetic frames. And people say the problem with magnetic frames is dust. You'll get dust on your diamond painting, which obviously is going to happen. But I think just a very light dust with one of those like feather dustery type things, not the feathery ones, so just the fibre is enough. I've got one that's out of shot, what's it called? The Little Tin Soldier. And that's been hanging up for months, and it looks absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with it at all. And as you walk past, you get the sparkle. If I want to take pictures, that's another thing. If you're taking pictures of your diamond paintings and they're in a frame with glass or perspex, you'll see you'll see your phone. If you use a flash, you'll see the flash. It's really irritating trying to get a decent picture of a diamond painting behind glass. So that's why I've decided to go with magnetic frames. And magnetic frames are basically, if you see the bar at the top, I'll take a guess where my finger's going. I'm going the wrong way. It's weird because it's back to front in the camera, but the black bar up here is wood. It's 2 strips of wood, and each strip has magnets in it. So when you put them together, they snap together because of the magnets, and you put the canvas in between them, put them together, snaps and holds it. And then you've got the same at the bottom, and that's just to give it a bit of weight so that it hangs like flat against the wall. It doesn't try to curl up or anything like that. And that's how they work. Problem is, diamond paintings, when you get to like the size of the hoverfly, because I decided just watching a canvas all the time gets a bit boring, I think. And I decided just to do the chat, because if I do the whip and chat, I either whip or I chat. So I either talk a lot and get nothing done. So basically you're watching nothing much happening. Or if I try and get the diamond painting done, I don't talk. So this time I decided rather than whip and chat, just chat. And I can concentrate more on the conversation. It's easier to just sit here and look down and see what people are saying, rather than trying to look over to find out which one of the 90 colours I need this time. So I just thought I would do this for a change. Is that a good enough answer? So yeah, what else? I sort of mess about with different things. Like I have ideas for things for YouTube videos, like the small ones here. Apart from the panda was just fun. As soon as I saw it, I thought that's funny. Thank you. The other, the little owl that's beside it, that is the smallest diamond painting I've done so far. Tammy's fine, Helen. She's at work, so she's at work and I'm at home with the soap tool. Just getting notifications. Yeah, so I decided to try and do as small a diamond painting as I could do and still get it half decent to look at. So I went for that little owl, and it is, I need to check. I use an app called Gems Flow, which is really good for keeping track of all your diamond paintings, when you got them, when you ordered them, how much they cost. You can put that in if you want, who you bought them from, when you received it, when you started it, when you finished it, how long you took, all that sort of stuff. So I'm just looking at that just now, and looking for the owl. Try to remember what I call it. That's ones that I haven't done yet. It's actually called Trippy Owl. That was the name. It is a 15 by 20. So that is a very small diamond painting. And it turned out okay. Well, I don't know how it shows up on the screen, but from this sort of distance, you can see it's an owl. Looks okay. But if you see the actual original picture, a lot of detail is missing. But it's still, you still get away with it, just. The one at the far end is a fish. That is round drills. Again, I was looking for things that were small that would work. And can't remember the size. 25 by 20. That one worked really well because it's mainly blocks of colour. It doesn't have a lot of detail. And for me, if all the ones that I've tried, that is the one. If somebody said, I would like to try diamond painting, but I don't want anything too big, that one is definitely the best one. Nice and easy. The key for it is seems like a 10 by 15 or 15 by 20. What does? The fish. What's the fish? What did I say? I just said it. 25 by 20. So 25 across, 20 high. No, I forgot what I was saying. Thanks, Callie. I was talking about the fish. Yeah, it's because it's mainly just blocks of colour. I'm sure I could actually, if you could get it smaller, that could go down again, and it would still look okay. But the other thing about it is the drills for that one were in resealable bags. The labelling for the key was really good. Bag number one was number one on the canvas. 2 was 2, 3 was 3, 4 was 4, 5, that sort of thing. Rather than 1 is X, 2 is 2 slashes, 3 is a heart. It was just like really simple. You had no Helen? The owl, 10 by 15 or 15 by 20. Yeah, it was 10 by 15. Was it? Fifteen by 20. Obviously the Panda is even smaller, but that was special drills. Yeah, Carly just threw me completely. Doesn't take much though. The Panda is special drills, which is a bit different. So take it, shares going. So thanks for dropping in, Helen. Have a good day. I'm going to check what size Panda is. No, don't tell me. I never put it in, do I? No, I did. It's 18 by 18, the Panda. So that's even smaller, but there are a lot of gaps in that. It's special drills. They're not the standard size drills. I mean, I think all of these you can find on the YouTube channel if you look. That one was Cheeky Panda. I did an unboxing of that. Probably did an unboxing of the other two, but it's been quite a long time. The black frame that you can see, that is what they call a shadow box, and it's basically a frame which is quite deep, and it's got a slot in the top part, and it's actually meant for tickets, ticket stubs as memories and that sort of thing. So the idea is that you get your ticket stubs from your concerts or your sports events or whatever, and you put the stubs in there and fill up the frame of memories. But when I saw it, I thought I could fill that with drills. So that has all the reject drills, drills that have got like they're misshapen, or drills that don't have a DMC number. Rather than trying to figure out what colour they are, I just put them all in that frame. So that's all the reject drills. They go in there rather than going in the trash and ending up in some fish's belly in the sea. I think there's enough plastic there. So I try not to add to that. So that's what that frame is. It's not a diamond painting. So it's just a mixture of all these different colours. The thing about it is if you shake it, it sort of changes because it just mixes the colours up a bit like those sand art things. But it's made up of drills. Odd size 18. Yeah, it's everything I'm talking about is centimetres. We're metric in Denmark. Actually, thinking about it, it isn't 18 by 18 because I measured it. Some companies, when they say the size, it is the size of the picture, but some companies, it's the size of the canvas, and the canvas always has a border around it. And the Cheeky Panda is actually 15 by 15. 12 by 12 apparently instead of 10 by 10. I don't know. I mean, you get some weird sizes, depends on the companies. I find that trying to get frames for square pictures is difficult. And the frame that the guitar is in, I got that, it's the wrong side. I got that in our local major supermarket. They sell some frames, and I was lucky enough that fitted in it. But it didn't exactly fit. I had to actually use a black marker to cover some of the border. Yeah, it's not 18 by 18. But that's the thing about the frames. You have to remember that, not the frames, the canvases. Some companies it's the size of the canvas, and some companies it's the size of the picture. So if you see it, it's say an 18 by 18, and you go and buy an 18 by 18 frame, and then when you get the thing, get the frame, and you go to put the picture in it, you find out that the frame is actually too big. You could color the border maybe, like use a marker and make it black, or use tape to cover it and make it colored, and have it as a frame inside the frame. Yeah, we've got quite a big supermarket. It sells frames. Um, not not a huge range, but it does 60 by 80s, which is a size that I do quite a lot. The Hans Christian Andersen is that size. I think the Tivoli is that size. Yeah, well, it's a big grocery store. It sells groceries and it sells clothes and electrical goods like kitchen stuff. Not like washing machines or anything, but like toasters and kettles and um, air fryers and all that sort of stuff. So it's quite a big place. It sells books and magazines and different stuff. So yeah, it's not just like a little grocery store. It has a bakery as well. A lot of the supermarkets in Denmark have bakeries where they make like freshly baked bread and cakes and stuff. They always have it near the door, so when you walk in, it's the first thing you smell. So by the time you're ready to leave, you're hungry and you buy something. It's tactical. Yeah, I suppose a bit like Walmart, but they wear better clothes. From the pictures I've seen about Walmart on Facebook, anyway. I haven't seen anybody going around with a day glow thong or anything like that. So it's 1:10 p.m. I think. I think I'm going to go and get some lunch. So I just thought, like Chantel was asking, why are we seeing you today? I just thought it would be a bit different, and realistically, when I do the whips, all you're doing is looking at a canvas up close for a long time and some little squares, which isn't really that much to look at or talk about. So when I'm actually just sitting in front of the camera, I don't know. I think it's a bit better than just watching a hand all the time. So that's why I decided to do that. I've got a few things that I'm getting ready to do videos of, unboxings, and something that I'm going to test. I'm not going to say what it is. It'll be a surprise. But I'll be doing that not today, I don't think. Thursday maybe. So I've got some new stuff coming up for the videos. These lives, I don't really I see these as completely separate from the YouTube videos that I do, like the unboxings, the unbaggings, the testing. They're all videos that people have a specific reason they want to watch the video, like what is checkerboard technique and why does it keep the drills straight. So you can watch that and just concentrate on that. These is you're used to that hand, yeah. These are more just a social thing, just have a bit of chit chat with people, like Jean, see how she's doing with her foot, and I quite like that. I mean, usually have a bit of banter. Uh, I'm interested where people are in the world and just different things, like how things are different in different places. And I noticed that, like, I first really thought about that when I moved to Denmark from Scotland. Denmark is very different. Um, there are quite a lot of things that are different, and I definitely prefer living in Denmark than Scotland. It's I don't know. It's hard to explain. People are more friendly, but after saying that, Scottish people are friendly as well. More laid back. That's probably a better word. Um, they they enjoy family time, and employers are quite keen on that as well. Um, they I spoke about this before. When I started working in Copenhagen, I worked for a newspaper. I was distribution manager, and they had a lot of problems when I started. So I was trying to fix their distribution problems, which involved creating a totally new database from scratch and dealing with customer complaints. That was my number one thing when I started. We had 63 customers who were basically constantly on the phone. And I spent most of my day talking to people on the phone, trying to calm them down and trying to fix the problem, trying to figure out why they weren't getting their newspaper. And that was what my main part of the job was at the very beginning. So I was doing that, and then one day my boss called me into the office. And normally, when your boss calls you into the office, it's not good. So I think I'd been there, I don't know, 6 months, and he said, "I noticed you haven't taken any annual leave." And I said, "No," and he said, "You really need to." And I said, "Yeah," I said, "But I'm trying to fix this database, and I'm trying to do this, and I'm trying to do that." And he said, "Yeah," he said, "That can wait." So he basically told me to take 2 weeks off. And I thought, when I worked in Scotland, I could have worked 7 days a week forever, and nobody would have batted an eyelid. I would maybe have got, why is this not done? Why is that not done? But I would never have a boss say to me, you should take time off. And it wasn't because I was stressed or anything. It's just because he could see that I was just working all the time. And he thought that wasn't a good thing. So that was a first for me. Jean says, I grew up in a larger town beside the very small town I live in. The people in this small town are much nicer and friendlier. They have been very helpful this past week. Yeah, I think you find that small villages, everybody tends to know everybody. They tend to look after or help the elderly people in the villages and that sort of thing. Um, the thing about moving to Denmark is being in Copenhagen as a foreigner. Copenhagen is a good place to be because there are so many people from so many different nationalities. It's definitely a multicultural city. If you go outside Copenhagen, the further you go out, the harder it is, because the people don't really speak English, and that can be a problem in communication. So Copenhagen, most people speak English. Sometimes they won't really admit it because they prefer people to speak Danish. So you find that you start to learn Danish, but the problem is a lot of times when you start trying to speak Danish, they realise that you're not Danish and they automatically switch to English, and that's what sort of happens to me. The other thing is the companies that I've worked for, the language that they speak at work is English, so and I never really got pushed. I never really had to learn Danish. When my wife moved here 30 years ago or something, very few people spoke English, so she had to learn Danish. And it's good that she did. I mean, she speaks fluent Danish now. So I speak Danish to a certain level, but not that good because I don't practice it. That's the thing. I always switch back because the Danes tend to switch to English when I speak to them. But I think I'm going to call it quits at that. I'm going to go and have some lunch. So I don't know. What do you prefer this type of chat, or do you prefer looking at a canvas for 3 hours? I'm just curious to. I mean, the people that have came in are all people that drop in regularly. In fact, probably every time I come on. So I'm just sort of curious to whether you prefer the whip and chat type thing or just the chat type thing, or mix them. What do you think? I dated a Mexican for 7 years. We practiced on each other. I spoke Spanish and he spoke English. Yeah, see, we've sort of tried that as well. But Tammy's American, so we just naturally drop into English all the time, both ways. So it doesn't make any difference. So I'll probably just switch. Yeah, okay. I'll just switch them one way or the other. I just thought it would make a change rather than just looking at canvas. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. That's good. That means that I can try and get on with my projects. Yeah, I've got a lot to do this Tivoli one. I want to get it done before Halloween. Yeah, see, that's the thing that Tammy's native language is English, so we tend to speak English. And I found that when I tried to speak Danish to Tammy, she would sort of look at me because we're that used to speaking English, and she'd be like, "What?" And I would say it again, and she'd look at me, and then she'd say, "Oh, yeah, you're speaking Danish." She just isn't used to it. God, my hat. You can't get it. You can't get it, Jane. It's mine. Mine. But okay, one little story. Some people will have heard this just before I go. How long have we been married? 3 years in December. But we've known each other. I mean, I've been here for 10 years in May, like next May. I'll have been here for 10 years. And we knew each other for, I'm going to say, about 6 years before I moved here. So we've known each other a long time. But I think it was, I visited Denmark 5 times before I eventually decided to move because I had to figure out if I thought it was going to work. Not being able to speak Danish and had no idea what Denmark was like. So I came over here 5 times before I actually moved. Yeah, it just doesn't work. We tend to just, because automatically, if I'm going to say something that's just like English without thinking, we've had times where we've tried that, right? Okay, after dinner we're going to speak Danish, but it doesn't really work. But I think it was the second time I was in Denmark. I couldn't speak any Danish, and we had went into Copenhagen, and we were passing the shoe shop. I don't know if everybody's heard this, but we were passing the shoe shop, and Tammy saw these winter boots, and she said, one of the kids needs a new pair of winter boots. I don't think the ones from last year will fit because, well, you know what kids like. Every year their feet get bigger up to a certain age. So she said, I need to buy new boots, but I don't know what size. So she went in and she bought two pairs. Size she thought, and then one up just in case. And she said, we can just bring back the ones that don't fit. So we did that, went home. One pair was okay, the other pair was too big or too small, can't remember. So Tammy was going back to work. That was on the Saturday. Tammy was going to work on the Monday. I was flying back to Scotland on the Wednesday. So she said to me, You'll be home on Monday, so could you take these boots back? And I said, Oh, I don't speak any Danish. And she said, that'll be fine. She said, most people speak English, and especially under a certain age, like the older people maybe. She said, people that work in stores tend to speak English and Danish. It won't be a problem. So I said, okay. So I went early because I thought I'll go in just when they open. That way there'll be no queues and no, if things don't work, it's less awkward. So I went in and I had the bag, I had the shoes or the boots, and I had the receipt. And I went up to the guy, it was just him, nobody else in the store. And I said to him, what was it I said? We bought these boots on Saturday, but they don't fit. Could I have a refund? And the guy just looked at me, and I thought, okay, this is a problem. And then he looked me straight in the eye and he said, do you speak English? And I looked him back straight in the eye and said, I am speaking English. And there was a pause. And then he said, okay, yeah, you want a refund for the boots? Yep, no problem. And I thought, what was that all about? So when I came back, and then when Tammy came home from work, I told her what had happened. And of course, she laughed. And then she said, I know what happened. She said, he wasn't expecting the Scottish accent. He was expecting you to speak Danish, and you spoke with a Scottish accent, which threw him. But by the time he had said, do you speak English? He had realised that you were speaking English. So that was my first lone venture into Copenhagen. So I actually did a podcast about that, and I called it Do You Speak English? So if you go to iccopenhagen.com, that's EYESEE Copenhagen.com, you'll find that podcast and a few others, some Hans Christian Andersen stories as well, and some other bits and pieces about Denmark if you're interested in that sort of thing. Might help to put you to sleep at night. Anyway, I'm going to go and have some lunch, or some frokost, as they say in Denmark. So thanks for dropping in. It was nice to see so many familiar faces, and have a good day. So in the meantime, take care, be safe, and wash your hands.